We're back on The Big Show. It's Alex Belfield in New York talking to the big stars of Broadway. And my God, have we got one for you now. Meredith Patterson, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm delicious, and all the better for talking to you because you're fabulous, you're talented, you're gorgeous, you've got a great voice, you've got everything, haven't you?
Oh, I try. I do my best.
And there you are, the big star of White Christmas, which is the show to see this season. I went to see it last night, and there they were queuing out the door, not to get tickets, but to get tickets that other people handed back. And that wasn't going to happen because there was about 100 people queuing for those tickets. This is the show of the season, really, isn't it?
It blows my mind to hear that because, you know, it's just people say, you know, oh, no one's going to go and spend money this year, this season. And our show is literally just people, like you said, lining up out the door. It's great. It's so great.
And what is it like for you celebrating Christmas every day?
Oh, it's, you know, there's two sides of it. There's the, you know, it's sort of like everything has been fast forwarded to Christmas, and backstage, you know, we're already in our red gowns and we've got our trees up in our dressing rooms and things like that. But then again, on the flip side, it's so wonderful because you do get to celebrate that feeling every single day, 8-9 times a week. It's wonderful. It's great.
And if you can hear stuff going on in the background, we're here at the Marquee Theatre today in Star Dressing Room number 1, and there's something going on outside, which is so typical of Broadway. There's always something going on.
There's always something going on in Times Square. There's some sort of concert with candles. I said they're you know, praying to get their tickets to the theater to our show. So, you know, there's always something going on here, always.
Now the show's just opened here on Broadway, but you've been with it for years, haven't you?
I have. In 2004 was when we did the world premiere in San Francisco, which is where I'm from originally. So it was in my hometown, and it was just a great celebration to be able to originate a role and have it be in my hometown and at the Curran, which is where I first fell in love with theater.
And tell us about the story. If anybody hasn't seen this, they really want shooting because it's been around long enough, hasn't it?
Oh gosh, it's based on the movie that was in the 50s, and of course Vera Ellen and Rosemary Clooney, Bing Crosby, and Danny Kaye. It's a tremendous story of a generosity of spirit. Really, it's about helping out a general who has an inn that isn't doing so well, and it's bringing their talents up to Vermont and you know, making the season just wonderful for the general as well as the rest of us.
And this musical harks back to the good days of Broadway and the good old days of Broadway, where there's good singing and good dancing. It's not all about the flashy lights and the ABBA songs or anything like that. It's a real traditional piece, isn't it? Well,
the sets and lights and costumes in our show just they absolutely frame the triple threat work that we've got going on in this show. I mean, really down to every ensemble member. They dance, they sing, they act. They're gorgeous. They're also just wonderful people to work with.
And let's talk about you in the beginning. You mentioned Rosemary Clooney, and I think you mentioned her name earlier, didn't you?
I did. I used to co-check at the Rainbow Room. I worked at Rainbow and Stars, and she happened to be headlining her show there when I first moved to the city, and I got to check the coats for her show and help her from her dressing room to Rainbow and Stars every single show. And she told me stories about her life and eventually stories about the movie White Christmas. So who knew that, you know, years later I'd be starring on Broadway in the show. So I wish she was around to see it.
And did it ever cross your mind that one day you would be in it?
You know what? It never did. You know, I'd hoped. I've always dreamed of doing movie musicals. I feel like I was sort of born in the wrong era, but I feel like I'm now able to. What's even better is able to honor it and able to bring it back to people who didn't necessarily grow up with it.
How do you not take it personally when a director or a producer says to you, "I don't like that bit. Do it this way"? Because as an actress or an actor, you can't take anything personally, can you?
Well, no, I never take anything personally because it's really not about me as a person. It's a collaborative art. It's the director's only there to make you better. And, you know, it's just like if the lighting designer tells you to stand in a different place in the stage, you're not going to take it personally because that place in the stage is where the light is. So it's a collaborative art, and I think a lot of people might forget that there's so many people that are making the show happen, and you see just a small keyhole of what is actually, you know, behind the scenes. There's just a tremendous, wonderful crew of people backstage helping us, and you know, I have my own personal dresser who helps me get dressed so I can be on stage and do my job, and it's really a team effort.
And of course, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and it always amazes me. You're relying on a lot of people, A, to switch your microphone on, B, to put the light on you. Do you just have to put your 100% faith in them so that if it doesn't happen, you'll have to get out of it, but it normally will?
Oh God, that's the thrill of live theater. That's what's so great about it. In fact, yesterday afternoon, the strap on my shoe broke in the beginning of a number that we do called Best Things Happen While You're Dancing, and apparently the best thing happened. My strap broke, and I just was on stage, and Jeffry's singing. He plays Phil Davis, and I feel this break in my shoe, and I can't really look down, and you know, you don't want to break character. but I felt my shoe slipping off, and I had to do this huge ballroom number. So what I basically did was, thank God there's fog on the stage. My toes are gripping my shoe, and I just danced with my upper body. And half of the people that were even in the show didn't know that happened. And it's just part of your job. It's part of the, then I get off stage and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. And it gives you this rush of excitement of the show must go on. That's live theater. So it's fun. I enjoy it as long as I don't get hurt.
And I think your job's a bit like a TV anchor person, isn't it? Where you're not paid when it goes right, because anybody can read the autocue. When it goes wrong, it's your job to cover. It's
your job to cover. In fact, one of the shows I did the Broadway show 42nd Street, and there was a part in the show where I said, I can do any tap step ever invented. Now, of course, whenever you say that on stage and you're not exactly perfect, it's like it's setting you up to fail, basically. And well, what happened this one show was I said, I can do any tap step ever invented. There's nothing else going on stage but me. And I start to do one of the tap steps, and of course I hit a track in the stage because we just happened to be off on one of the numbers, and we were in a different place on the stage, and I hit a track in the stage and I fall right on my bum, as you'd say. And the whole audience gave this collective gasp, and I basically, it was like my bum was made of rubber. I bounced back up and I said, let's try that again. And I said the line again, the whole audience laughed, and we just went on. And it is your job to cover, and it's not, don't take yourself too seriously, because that's what happens. And the audiences love mistakes, and they love to be a part of it because they feel like they're not watching a movie, they're watching a live show.
Do you have any ambitions to go the other side of the Atlantic to the West End? Because for our guys, they dream of coming to Broadway. What about you coming to us?
Oh God, I dream of being able to dance in the West End and perform in the West End. I've never actually even been any place over in Europe except for Moscow. So, and I call that the mothership of European cities, and it was. And I've done that and been there. But I would love to go over the Atlantic and take part. Be fun.
Congratulations to you, because it's such a great show. There's only 65 chances to see it, and that must be nice for you in a way, that you know that you've got an end point and you can work hard slogging away doing your 2 shows a day, and knowing that you're giving such pleasure to people, and especially this Christmas more than any time before. People just want some relief, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I feel like, if anyone's going to give themselves a gift or give their family a gift, let it be a gift of an experience like this. Getting a scarf or a sweater is nice for Christmas, but having an experience like this, generosity of spirit, giving of your time, giving of we're giving our talents over to the audiences of New York and the tourists, and so to have this be a gift for your family is a great thing.
Meredith, thank you very much for speaking to us. You're a huge, whopping, great big star here at White Christmas, which is on at the Marquee Theatre. You can't miss it. If you come into Times Square, it's right there. And what a thrill it must be for you to just turn up every day and do the show. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much. It's so great to talk to you.